lads in devotion, rising to promotion, to the ranks of mighty heroes, fighting foes in every land. History only tells us.
Right, let's dive in. Andy's written this.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see you.
That's how you do it
I don't know why
professionally.
I'm bothering with the introduction, but we'll go for it anyway. Okay. He's suave. He's sophisticated. His penchant for lunchtime football-based shenanigans has set something in motion we could never roll back from, nor would we want to. The executive director of Wrexham Football Club may sound like a made-up title, but his role is very much real. He's the go-between from Hollywood to a North Wales mining town, and he's got a big part to play in the coming season. But just how prepared are this season's Wrexham for the League One campaign? And can we ask him a question he's never been asked before? Let's find out as we welcome the one and only Humphrey Ker.
I like my intro music. That's cool.
That roar was worth it.
That roar was worth it.
There was nothing wrong with that intro. That intro was crafted on a train yesterday.
It was very good.
Poured my heart into that.
3 hours ago. Right, let's cut to the chase. Rob and Ryan won promotion. I think you were a little bit more measured than that earlier on in the summer.
Sure.
Where are you now in terms of that thought process, and can you give us any hints on who else might come in before the season starts, perhaps?
Goodness, that's a wide-ranging question. You're going to get.
I'll narrow it. Is anybody coming in before the start of the season?
Well, as it happens, as I stood next to you only moments ago, I received an email on my future watch that I had to very quickly go like, "Wait," so you couldn't see what it said. I think it's very likely you will see.
Oh, yes!
Exclusive.
Come on. Exclusive.
Stick that up your Rob Ryan Red.
I think it's very likely you'll see at least one more player.
At least one.
You tease.
Wow.
Yeah,
And the names are?
that's. To be honest, this is probably going to be the high point of my interview. So
Thanks for
this has
coming.
been great. Good night. Straight out the door.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad I narrowed that question down. Well, yeah, you're not going to give us any more. I know that. So, backtracking,
Yeah.
what is your thought process going into this campaign? Now you know who we've signed, who we're about to sign.
Yeah.
Where are you in terms of what the expectations and what your hopes are?
I think that if any of you've seen the documentary, which I'm sure some of you have, I think I usually try to be a bit more measured than the lads, because, and by the lads I mean Rob and Ryan, because they tend to be very excitable. And when we were in Canada, Ollie was saying back to back on a podcast, and I think that what Lee was saying earlier is very true. It's a very difficult league. It's a big jump for us. One thing we've always said is that we think it takes at least 2 windows to shift a team between divisions, if that makes sense, or at least shift them into challenges between divisions. So, that we found that with the first summer that we came in, or the first sort of proper summer that we had. We built a decent team and it finished second, but it wasn't complete until we brought Ollie in January. He really sparked that second half of the season. So every summer, every window, we work very, very hard, and I think we've signed really great players who've improved the quality of the squad and given us a very good fighting chance of doing something unexpected in this division. And I think that as I said, we're not finished yet in the transfer window, and I think that the players we bring in, we're looking to bring them in as first team starters who are going to come in and change the kind of the dimension of the team. So who knows? I think I do think the point of we're not going to smash everybody in the league this season. It doesn't matter who we bring in the next 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, until the window closes, because as was alluded to earlier, Birmingham can spend 1.3 million quid on a left back, and that is That's no joke. And, you asked why aren't we spending 80 million quid on a striker or whatever it is.
I didn't know you were here, I'll be honest.
As I said over there, I didn't even buy my drink here tonight. That's how cheap I am. So...
where's the ambition?
Yes, yeah. Well, that's why I was saving up that £3.60 to go into the transfer kitty. But yeah, so I mean, listen, I'm really excited about this season. I think we can, every season... there is a team that comes out and kind of shocks everybody, and why not us? Like I think we've built a very strong defence, strong midfield. We looking for reinforcements further up the pitch, looking to add a bit of attacking flair and all that kind of thing. So, who knows? Let's just have fun.
Yeah, I'll echo that. In terms of your role. How has it kind of evolved and changed from when you've come in? And has it changed more since we've had the hiring of a new CEO? Is it adapted somewhat?
Well, it's definitely changed since I started. Like when I first got here, Sean, Harvey, and I kind of arrived as a bit of a double act, and we only had 5 or 6 members of staff. Everyone else was a volunteer, and that meant that I sort of was a lot more sleeves rolled up and kind of getting into the nitty gritty of it and performing kind of direct executive actions and stuff. Whatever that may have been. As we've added more and more people, that role has become a bit diluted because you don't need me here the whole time. Like initially it was, that first year I was here for I think 4 months before the takeover went through, and then probably another 3 to 4 over the course of the rest of that year. And as we've added more pieces of the puzzle, that my sort of direct interface isn't as required. I think what's stayed the same is that sort of impetus to be someone who translates Hollywood into football and football into Hollywood, and getting Rob and Ryan to understand what it is that we're doing, and kind of trying to retain, ironically, given that I'm a posh Wally from down south, as much of the cultural understanding that I've got of what Wrexham is, that I can make sure that they don't lose sight of that, or whoever they bring in doesn't lose sight of that, because I think that's incredibly important. I am a football fan first and foremost, and I've often said that this job, what's amazing is to get to cross the white line in a way and suddenly be inside of it. But you always retain that thing of I love football culture, I love football fans and fandom, and it's a thing that resonates really strongly with me. So I'm always looking to try and champion that as much as possible. Michael coming in, I think is already in the process of affecting big changes behind the scenes. One of the big things is that we're just looking to expand the operation in a massive way. So we're hiring all sorts of people to new positions, and hopefully that's going to make us a lot more responsive and a lot more flexible and a lot more able to preempt things. We've been very reactive over the last couple of years, and I know that there are lots of people get very frustrated because our communications aren't as good as they could be, and our lots of our operations are they're decent, but they're not as good as they should be. I think we put a lot of time and energy into the first team, what's going on the pitch. Last summer, obviously, we started our academy up, and then and have finally got category 3 status, and that's starting to really rumble into life. I think a big thing this season, from my perspective, is going to be the community trust and what we're doing out in the community, because that's not really changed since we came in. And we're really, really energized and enthused to start getting out there and start. We've heard many times, and we've told the story many times about how great it is that people are taking their kids to play football, and you're suddenly seeing lots of Wrexham shirts rather than Manchester City shirts and things. But a big part of that for us is we should be out there coaching kids at a young age. We should be just interfacing with the community way more than we do. We do a great deal just by dint of being a football club. It's a place people come to. It's a place where you have all come for a long time. You've met friends there, you've met partners there, you've taken your kids to all that kind of stuff, and we just want to supercharge that and make that something that is we're the best in the business at doing. So it's a very long answer that, as I threatened.
Forgot what the question was.
Me too. Was there a question, or did I just start talking? I kind of blacked out.
Probably a good one.
I blacked out about 7 minutes ago, and I've just woken up again. I don't remember what I said.
Very well answered. We have got a zillion questions, but we'll explain the reason behind those in a bit. Before we get to them, just tell us a little bit about this. We were supposed to have like a hybrid pitch and undersoil heating.
Oh, yeah.
That hasn't happened.
Yes.
Why?
So the reason being that we were going to do it as kind of phase one of the COP, effectively. So the idea was when we took down the temporary stand, we'd go and put that in. We were going to move the dugouts, which I think people have heard about. All that still remains the plan. I think all that's going to happen next summer. But ultimately, it was decided, look, we want to do that all as part of a sort of unified package. And the pitch, actually, I mean, I think, I don't know who I was only watching on telly on Saturday, but like Charlie's done an unbelievable job with it. It's in great nick. So we were like, look, doing something like that costs like £1 million effectively. So when you do it, you're like, let's do it right. And when it comes in, it's going to be, as you say, it's going to be a Deso hybrid grass plastic pitch with undersoil heating. It'll be UEFA Category 4 standard. It'll be this, that, and the other. So I think a big feature of, because I'm sure I don't know if we'll move on to the COP in due course. I mean, effectively what's happened with the COP is sort of similar, where we've gone, right, if we're going to do this, I'm going to spend upwards of 20 million quid on this, which is what it will be north of. Let's make sure it is absolutely top drawer and will now fit together with whatever ends up happening to the other stands. Because I think that the original version that we did was amazing, but it was sort of a bit standalone. And you then get a thing where you had sort of weird different stands. It wouldn't maximise the space, which is going to be so important because we're on that small footprint and all that stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. We'll definitely come back to that. Yeah. Good answers.
Sure.
Good answers.
Humphrey, just a quick one. When am I going to get a beverage holder in my seat in the Mould Road stand?
A recliner chair.
What number's your seat?
73.
He's trying to ban you, Liam.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll find your seat, Liam. Don't you worry about that. We've got cameras in there and everything.
Loyalty scheme.
Loyalty scheme, yeah.
Loyalty scheme is a. Oh, gee, hang on. It's a question, yeah?
Proud.
Something emerged not so long ago which looked like the framework of a loyalty scheme. Is that happening? Has it been delayed? Is it being replaced? Scrapped? What's happening with it?
Not scrapped, not replaced. It's been delayed, and I'd say it's basically that's a function of the change over to Michael. So when Michael came in, the phrase he's used is he's like, I'm drinking from a fire hose right now. Like, so much is coming at him so fast that this is one of the things that was on the agenda for this season, for the start of this season, I should say. And he was like, look, can we just put a bit of a pin in this for a short while so I can get into the building, get my head around this, get to understand it. But we're still actually eager to run it out this system. So all the data is being collected. And I can not very exclusively reveal that basically the data has been collected in the manner as laid out in that document. And at a certain point during the season, we hope the objective is to go like, right, from here on out, we're going to start doing it. It's much cleaner to do it from the start of the season, but ultimately it's something that we want to do because we know it's something that people feel really strongly about. And ultimately, it's one of those difficult things where whatever you do, some people are going to be disadvantaged by the new system, some people are going to be helped. We hope in the main, that where that came from, I think, was from the CAB meeting that we had, where we ran it past the kind of selection of people there, and everyone was like, look, I think one or two people were like, it ain't great for me, but it probably makes sense overall. And so ultimately, that's the policy that we're looking to adopt. Watch this space, but it will be coming in the not too distant future.
Okay, great. We've already kind of touched on this with the COP and other things. Where are we in terms of any developments with training ground? And secondly, there's been a lot said about the COP fan zone. Is that hit any buffers as far as you're concerned, or is it serving its purpose as what we were expecting it would?
So the fan zone. So hang on, training ground. Let's do training ground first. I'll answer them in order. So essentially, yeah, we're still working towards finding a training ground. For a long time, we were like, let's do the COP first, and then we'll do the training ground. Do the COP first, do the training ground. And of course, the COP has taken much longer than we ever thought it would. And it comes back to that thing of, as we're saying, Michael's, since coming in, it's been interesting hearing his perspective because he's coming from the outside and has looked at everything. And where we've, I think, struggled over the last couple of years, one of the ways in which we've struggled is just bandwidth. Like we've had a very small cadre of people working on things, and they just didn't have the time to do everything all at once. And that was probably a mistake on it. Well, it was definitely a mistake on our part to allow it to operate in that fashion. And one of the big things behind Michael coming in was we need to sort of restructure this all strategically from top down, so that we can start to diversify what we're doing, bring more people in who have responsibilities for different areas, project managers and like a tour manager and things like that. That roles that effectively allow us to maximise. We do everything pretty damn well, but nothing brilliantly in a way. I think apart from that, I say to myself, first team, what's happening on the pitch, like that's all. We put all our time and resources into that, and everything else has been like, well, what can we get done? Shut up, watch.
You signing?
No, that's actually my doorbell at home, which is a bit boring, but it's a bit more exciting. Like, whoa.
Mbappe's just turned up at Humphrey's house.
John McAtee's at your door.
The postman's come. The postman has come. What was it? Yes. So in terms of training grounds, so obviously we've got this arrangement with Darland at the moment. So that's to replicate a section of training ground. Now, in due course, I think the academy would potentially go to the main training ground with everybody. But that space at Darland will always be useful to us because we'll use it as a community sports space. There'll be a place where we do tiny kids there, or a space where our women's team goes, or like we're always going to need to use the space. So, but we needed that space immediately in order to qualify for Cat 3, and that's incredibly important because it's that's where we start finding the next Lee Joneses, the players from Wrexham that are going to wear this shirt and do wonderful things for us. So first team, there's been a bit of a change. We're at the FAW, and our relationship with them is really good at the moment. So we've been using Colliers as well a lot. We've got a good arrangement with them for now. But yeah, it remains absolutely one of the first priorities is to get our own training ground, do it ourselves, put the power in our own hands. Colliers have been brilliant, but every now and then they'll get a Wales under-19s camp or whatever it may be, and we can't use it. And so we've got a relatively good system of doing things. But again, it's not as good. You miss out on those 1%, those little bits and pieces that just put you over the edge, which is having our own space with a state-of-the-art gym, with a swimming pool, where our nutritionist can be based, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that remains very important. What was the one after training ground? Oh, fan zone. Yes. So, with the fan zone, it's a really interesting one. I think if there's one mistake we've made in regards to the fan zone, this is not going to be what people think I'm going to say. Like, I'm going to go 8 mistakes. The one mistake I think we made is calling it a fan zone. Because what it is actually something slightly different, which is effectively a hospitality space for the COP, right? And I think if it's presented in that way, then people see it in a different light, right? The complaints about how much it costs and this and the other. Well, the 1864 suite costs more than being in a regular seat in the Mould Road stand, but people understand you get something in return for that. My single biggest hope for it is that people will go into it on Saturday and go into it the following Saturday and be like, oh, this is good. This is a really good thing. I mean, we've got 4 different food stalls in there. I think there's going to be curry from this lady who used to do it at Bolton Wanderers. They loved it there. It's now coming here. We've got, I think, wood-fired pizza, and there's like a coffee bar, and there's a burger bar. There's live music, there's face painting, there's like games and things for kids in there. So I think I think I've seen a lot of complaints about it. People don't like that it's exclusive to that section. They don't like that you pay £10 to go in there. They don't like all those things. But ultimately what we're hoping is people go in there and be like, oh, this is pretty good actually. It was worth it. It was worth the £10. It was worth having access to all that food. So, people might not.
Fairly experimental at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, a lot of what we do is I think people, expect us, which is not unreasonable with them to a certain extent, but expect us to come with things like, right, we're doing this new thing and it's fucking rules and we've nailed it and don't worry about it, like, it's brilliant. But that's just the way all businesses go. Like, what the fan zone looks like on Saturday will probably look very different by the end of the season because we will learn from the process and, I don't know what those lessons will be, but I'm sure that we will learn all sorts of stuff, and it will, it might be like no one uses the face painters for kids. Like, okay, so let's move the face painters on and replace them with a magician. I don't know what.
Is there a magician?
Who knows?
Can I go in there?
Could be.
Dynamo will be in the fan zone.
Could be.
I'd pay a tenner for Dynamo. I would.
No, but whatever it is, I think we will learn from it. I mean, I think, I recognise that, as I say, naming it a fan zone, people are like, oh, well, it's like fan zones at other football clubs where it's open to everybody. I mean, we would discuss doing that, but again, it's the outlay. Like, it costs us a certain amount of money to do it. We've got to try and at least cover that cost. So this is the process that we've gone down.
Okay. We've got
Why are you looking at me already?
Well, you've
This is
devised
all
it on your
Andy's
train
idea.
journey. So we had loads of questions from people on social media when, in our infinite wisdom, decided to say, what would you like to ask Humphrey? So we've had all manner of questions, some heavy hitting, some softballs. So what we're going to do, rather than throw you under the bus, you may choose to throw yourself under the bus.
Yeah.
So
Very generous of you.
you will pick a number and we will ask that question.
1 to 30, Humphrey. 1 to 30.
1 to 30.
I could do this like a sort of bingo calling type thing, like number 22, Tom O'Connor. Formerly, it's not anymore. He's changed his number, but yes, what he was number 22.
Well, we'll have that one. Shall I have that one?
Yeah.
So
You start off, mate.
number 22. Pick a member of the squad who has the best chance at gold in each of the following Olympic events.
Ooh, this is fun.
No repeats.
Yeah.
10-metre platform diving.
10-metre platform diving.
Merlin.
Well, yes, but I would say Ollie spends a lot of time in like nutcrackers, so he's quite combat experienced for that. But he's a bit big. I think he needs something a bit smaller. All right, we'll go with Paul Mullin. Yes.
Okay. 20-kilometre speed walking.
James Jones, just for the fit. He's got the lungs.
Dressage
On a horse. Whose horse? Yeah, it's got to be one of the
Please say
Irish
Billy
lads.
Waters.
I'm going to say Owen O'Connell. I think because he's from Cork, and that's big like horse racing country.
Okay. Air pistol.
Don't say
Air
McLean.
pistol, a deadly marksman. Who's a deadly marksman?
You've already said him. You can't have him again.
I think I'd probably go for Paul again, but I'm not allowed him, am I?
No repeats.
Stephen Fletcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Break dancing.
I can't do Stephen Fletcher again. No. Break dancing. Who'd be good at break dancing? Do you know what, actually? Billy Waters. He's very musical. He's small. He's compact. Yeah.
Who said Arthur? That's outrageously good. Yeah.
Believe me, as a similarly physique man to Arthur, we're not good at break dancing.
That's good. Next number.
Next number. Let's see. Really confusingly, this season, number 6, Tom O'Connor.
Hey.
Right.
I hope you didn't do all the hard ones at the top.
So, if you had to room with any of the Wrexham squad on an away trip, who would it be and why?
Genuinely difficult question, because I happily choose about 12 of them. I think I would go with gorgeous George Evans.
Good choice.
Just the nicest man going.
What would you like to see his sort of beauty routine as well? Because
His
quite
hair.
often...
Yeah, I'd like to get a few tips of how's he doing it. Yeah. Although he would show me up. Maybe I need a real uggo. Don't have any real uggos on our team these days. They're all a very handsome bunch.
Right, next.
I'm not going to listen to anybody shouting any names out of the audience for who's uggos or not.
From the random number generator,
Yeah.
which is it's a supercomputer. It's not a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
What will you pick next?
What's my next one? Let's go with number 4, Max Cleworth.
Oh, hang on. Right, okay. These are very soft so far. Very soft.
Good.
We need to get into the hard-hitting ones. Someone go number...
What question is this?
Yeah.
It's Humphrey who has to pick.
I mean, I don't... Okay, this is very similar to the last one. Humphrey Ker
Yeah.
has booked a 4-night break in a static caravan in Porthmadog.
Yeah?
He has to take 3 players with him.
3 players.
Who does he take and why?
Okay,
Alan
I'm
Partridge at the end.
going to take 3. Okay, so I won't take George because we're rooming all the time.
And
We
his
see each other
his
a lot.
pillow will smell magnificent.
Yes. I would take Will Boyle because he's very funny.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh. I would take... Who else? Do you know? See, I wouldn't take Jimmy to a caravan because he'd get up at 4 in the morning and go running. He'd come back at like 6 a.m. Be like, I just done 12 miles. I'd be like, well, good for you. And then he'd hang a speed bag off the back of the caravan and be like the whole time as well. So no Jimmy for me, please. I love him, don't get me wrong. I hope he's in the caravan next door, but just not my caravan. So who have I got Boyley. I think I'd take Owen O'Connell, very funny. There's two big beefcakes. Oh yeah, and take Andy as well, Andy Cannon. Yeah, just because he's great and a laugh.
Okay, right.
That was an outstanding accent. Are you an actor? That's brilliant.
No, my dad's from Northern Ireland.
Right.
New number.
Yeah, new number. Okay, let's go with...
Pick a tough one.
Number 12, George Evans.
Okay.
You guys devised this system, not me.
Yeah, okay.
He devised this system. One person. Have you ever played comedians football in London? That is played most weeks, apparently. Who there could do a job at the Kai Ras?
Yes.
We've heard that Kitson is a very able player, and weirdly so is Tim Key.
Yes, so I would say probably someone that everyone here is more familiar with, Ellis James, a big player in that game. And he would be really delighted if I said he could do a job at the Kairos. He could not.
No.
No, he's a good winger, Ellis. But the interesting thing about this, because it's a game in South London with lots of people who work in comedy play at, and the only story from that is worth telling really is the difference between when you play, all the stand-ups never pass the fucking ball and they shoot from everywhere, and all the like sketch and character comedians pass the ball to each other loads. So I remember playing with Tim Vine and Lee Mack once, and Tim shot from his own box while the goalkeeper was still in goal, and the ball didn't only about reach the halfway line, and then Lee received it at the other side and shot from the halfway line, giving it back to us. So yeah, everyone there is pretty bad. Another number.
Another number.
Another number.
I'm going to end up trying to go through all these anyway. So yeah, just keep picking.
Let's see. Who should I select? Let's do Stephen Fletcher, number 26.
You're good at this. You memorise them.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Oh yes.
Last. Oh, you've done it now, Humphrey. Oh, you'll regret this.
So I'm regretting all of this, to be honest, already. But yes, I look forward to this question really putting a full stop on that regret.
Can the club collaborate with the FAW and further utilise Colliers Park as a training centre, especially considering all the focus our ownership have delivered for Welsh football?
Can we buy Colliers Park, Humphrey?
No.
It'll be easy.
£2, isn't it?
No?
No, because... no, the answer is no, because we can't really collaborate with them more because we're already collaborating with them loads, and they've been great and very helpful. We also don't want to buy Colliers because it doesn't have what we want. We want something bigger and fancier than Colliers. So it's a very it was a very catty comment. Colliers is brilliant. That wasn't. I didn't mean to be bitchy towards Colliers, but yes, that's not. Oh God, let's shut the doors. Shut the doors and don't let anybody out of here or broadcast this podcast. No, Colliers is brilliant, but it's got quite a limited space. I mean, it's fantastic for what it is. We love it. We love using it. But as I say, the aspiration of what we want to do is we want to, there are, I think, 3 pitches at Colliers, and we want somewhere that's got 7 or 8 pitches in the end, basically.
If there's one thing I want you all to take from that tonight, it's that Humphrey Ker hates
Colliers Park.
Hates.
Colliers Park killed my parents, unfortunately. So I've been this whole thing is a long con for me to purchase and then burn down Colliers Park. No, none of that is true.
Right, we need another number.
Let's do number 10, Paul Mullin.
Would Humphrey Ker rather get Wrexham to the Premier League or win an Oscar?
Oh, Wrexham to the Premier League. Yeah.
That was a quick answer, that.
Well, I think awards are. I just think awards are. All those awards are a bit stupid. Really,
Your award,
because
Humphrey.
It is my award.
Your award.
No, but it's all like, I don't know. If you're in any, well, anyone in any business that's got awards associated with it, whether it's like best local bar or best local whatever or best actor or best, it's always a bit sort of subjective, and it's not like there's not a you can't really get an award and be like, well, I actually am the best at this thing. So I always think they're a bit stupid, really. And yeah, so yes, Premiership, please.
I think you're the best at doing Star Wars walks.
Thank you. There are no awards handed out for that. I assure
No
you.
chance of getting a repeat, are we? Not going to get one of them.
No.
Another number.
Another number. Let's go with who's number 17 these days? Oh, yes, Luke Bolton. Yeah, number 17, Luke Bolton.
Which Hogwarts house do you belong to?
Don't say Gryffindor.
I'll be real quick. Obviously, I want to think it's Gryffindor, but it's Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another number.
Another number. Let's go with number 20, Andy Cannon. Sorry, number 20, Andy. Oh, he's changed. That's true. He is. Andy Cannon, number 8.
Are you going for 8 now?
I got to start the computer up again.
Wait, which one's the better question?
I mean, this is a softball, but where does Humphrey Ker, in brackets, mostly get his clothes from? Not all the time. Where do you mostly get your clothes from, Humphrey?
Well, I have just discovered a company called American Tall that is like designed specifically for sort of creeps who are 6'4" plus.
I've never had to use that, funnily enough.
Yeah. It's not as bad as the Stephen Merchant has a bit about this, in that he had to buy all his clothes from a place called tootall.com, which is like a weirdly insulting name for your customer base. You're too tall. Just want to buy some trousers. Sorry. But yeah, yes. So I get a lot from there. And actually Nike's quite good because they do like stuff tall. Yeah.
Does anyone do any in extra small, asking for a friend?
Yeah, I mean, is there American Small? I Google American Small and see what comes up. Another number, right?
Yeah, I think the way it's going, we're just going to ask them all anyway because you're really good at doing these. So let's just do them.
Yeah. Any requests? Number 19. Number 19. Jacob Mendy.
19. Okay, right. What moment since then sticks in your mind as the highlight scene from the last 3 years, and what would you leave on the cutting room floor?
This is documentary based. Really.
I see. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
What's my favourite scene? Well, I mean, it's difficult. Well, there's a bunch of different. I mean, if we're talking about the documentary, there's loads of stuff in there that I think is really amazing. Stuff around Jordan and Kelsey and their trials and tribulations was really moving, and stuff around JJ and Chloe and Jude, all that stuff. I think it's one of the best things about the documentary is it shows all the players for who they are, which is human beings, and I think it's so easy for us to forget that. You know, footballers always have this difficulty. Thank you. I think footballers always have a challenge, which is that everybody's like, oh, I wish I was a footballer, I wish I had that, and they assume that everything is great for those people, and they don't really, other than not having a great game on a Saturday, they don't have any problems. And so I think all those scenes are really brilliant. In terms of the real life scenes and things, I mean, it's hard to look past the like Paul's first goal against Boreham Wood, that being the moment where I was like, oh wow, we're going to do it tonight, and it's really happening. Like that was amazing. In terms of the cutting room floor, anything with me in it, I'm very happy to get rid of. Don't really. Ironically, well, I became an actor because I was like, I want to pretend to be other people than myself. So seeing myself on camera, I really don't like very much.
Just about that, in the first season when you were first introduced to the players, and Keatsy was there. Have you ever spoken to Dean about that moment since? Because
no.
I think you probably look back and everybody can see the same thing, that they were like, who? What?
I definitely knew that in the moment. I was under no illusions. I was like, do you know what? I'm absolutely smashing this. These guys think I'm really... I mean, if they could have done a reverse shot from my perspective of the players, who were all sitting there like this, basically. Theo Vassell, I thought was like, that man's going to kill me in the car park after this. But no, I mean, it's funny because people
got
often...
released soon after, Humphrey.
He did. Yeah, I mean, people do often say to me, like, oh, was that like, you must have kind of had it in for that. I mean, to be fair, I fully understood where they were coming from because it's weird. Like, I mean, any moment like that when a takeover goes through for the players and staff that are at the club, it's quite a nerve-wracking time. You don't know. You're like, I thought I might have been here for a few years, but now these guys are coming in. They're going to throw a load of cash around. Am I going to be part of that? How does it all work? So I really never blame them for thinking it was all a bit weird. And I leant on the light switch like an absolute wally. So I mean, you can't really be like, well, I'm styling it out. I'm cool. Yeah. So it was understandably they were not impressed.
Well, let's just try and go through the rest of the questions really quick.
Oh. What's in my pocket? It's a handkerchief, my car keys, my wallet.
It's his wallet, mate. That's why it's huge.
I wonder what you were looking at. We've lost him here. We shot that for ages.
Also, cannot believe I missed the setup. What's the huge thing in your pocket?
I know, yeah.
And was like, oh, it's my wallet. Like, oh,
Damn.
could have been boasting about all sorts of other things.
Right, shall we? We'll ask 2 questions each, then we'll do the floor, and we'll pick our own because.
2. What is the one thing about the inner workings of the club that we all jump to the wrong conclusion about, and why?
Ooh, that is a good one. I mean, I think it's an extension of, you know, what I was saying earlier about players and things like that. I think sometimes people forget that there's a lot of human beings at the club, and we are, you know, flawed, and we make mistakes, and you make the, you know, I mean, I think case in point, you've got things like the, you know, Jordan Tunnicliffe's contract. That was the thing that came out this summer, and everyone was kind of crowing about that. But you know, the nature of those things is we write the contract, it goes to the agent, they make changes, it comes back to us, it goes through so many different people, it goes to the PFA, it goes to wherever it is. And just no one spotted that in one of the things there was the wrong number written into the space. And I think that sort of I think I think people expect perfection in some ways from the people that work at football clubs, or kind of elite performance. And the reality is that, like, you know, we have issues with all sorts of things. But you'll see, like, you know, Liverpool basically at the start of the season, Liverpool had the same issues we had when people were signing up for season tickets, the same sort of computer issues. It's just the human nature of people. I think sometimes people forget about. But I don't see particularly people jumping to huge conclusions about. I think, you know, you do see people love stories and they love narratives, and people love the soap opera of things, and you see sometimes it's like, oh, you know, you can tell Phil's livid about something because this hasn't happened. It's like, none of this is going on necessarily. But yeah, that's probably the biggest one, maybe.
Oh, is it me again? Is it? I'll just do the hard one.
Can we go up again?
Okay. 13. Why no resistance, certainly publicly, to the FA Cup replay decision?
Oh yeah, that is a difficult question. So. This is a really hard one because it involves stuff that I'm not necessarily like at liberty to talk about. But I think ultimately the feeling was that we slightly wanted to keep our powder dry for what we assume is going to be round 2 of that conversation. Partly because, you know, you're always in a situation operating a football club where you've got to be doing the right thing, but also doing the thing that is in the best interest